to Cram with Camila. As we cram for the RD exam, let's finalize food science because we need to move on. There's a lot to look into. With that being said, let's start with fruits and vegetables. As you may recall, fruits and vegetables are composed mostly of water. Think celery, a lot of water. And the turgor, if I'm saying that correctly, and that causes them to be crispy is due to osmotic pressure in water-filled vacuoles. This is obviously not very crispy, but let's find out. Oh, you can see all the fiber. You should see the water, it just went everywhere. Have you ever purchased an avocado that was green and then you wait a day or two and when you decide to eat it, it's way too ripe? The struggle is real. What you do need to know though is that ethylene is a gas used to accelerate fruit ripening. However, pretty sure that cherries and blueberries do not produce enough ethylene. So those are two tricky ones. Aren't they interesting? What I want to tell you about frozen vegetables, I'm sure that you know if you grab a bag of frozen vegetables and you're cooking with it, it's going to cook so much faster. That's because they're blanched before they're frozen. And you know what happens if you don't blanch them? They turn brown in your fridge. The more you know. Guys, let me take you back to, pretty sure that was chemistry, when we talked about pH levels. So the pH scale goes from 0 to 14, with 7 being neutral. The lower the pH, the more acidic, and the higher the pH, the more alkaline. Do you remember that? Okay, so alkaline, high, acidic, low. So think about this. If you take green vegetables that have chlorophyll, that's what the pigment that makes them green, and you put them in an acidic solution, they will turn a darker green, like this, like a dark green, probably darker, like an olive green, and that is due to phyophytin. If you put them in an alkaline solution, they're going to turn a brighter green, and that is due to chlorophyllin. So phyophytin, dark, chlorophyllin, light, bright. Got that? Broccoli. Oh, this is so cool. So you take broccoli, you put it in lemon juice. What's gonna happen? What color do you think? Lemon juice. Do you think that's acidic? It's acidic, right? So it's gonna turn dark olive green. Due to what? Phyophytin. I just thought of something else. So if you take cabbage and you put lemon juice in it, it will turn bright red. Because anthocyanins turn red in acidic solution and they turn blue in alkaline solution. Let's review some pigments. So we have green. Do you know what that's due to? Chlorophyll. Then we have yellows and oranges, and that's due to carotenoids. So how I remember is carotenoids, I don't even know how to say that, but carrots, carotenoids. What color are they? Orange. So we're good. Moving on. Then we have purple. Although when, I don't know, I think onions, I think more white, like light yellow. I don't think purple, but this one is pretty purple, so we're gonna go with it. So for purple is flavonoids. I like to think of blueberries, yums. They have anthocyanins. Then we have colorless, which would be like a white onion. You know a story that I want to tell you. One time we were studying for biology, and I was being so healthy. I brought this veggie platter with a lot of broccoli in it, and when I opened, it smelled like somebody had tooted. It was really bad. Then I got you thinking, I wonder what makes that smell so funky. Turns out some vegetables have sulfur. So they produce sulfur, for example, onions and cabbage. And they are also sulfur producing amino acids. For the amino acids, they are methionine, which is the limiting amino acid in soybean, also cysteine, homocysteine, and taurine. So methionine, cysteine, homocysteine, taurine. Got that? Those are sulfur containing, not producing, but containing amino acids. What do you think about my countertops? They have all those stripes because they look like marble, right? You know what else looks like marble? The fat in this steak. And that's just what that is. This is called marbling. Pretty simple. Oh, this is vacuum sealed. Look at that. You know what it does? This creates an anaerobic condition. Boom. The reason why meat is red, it's because of myoglobin. That's what gives that red pigment. Meat is inspected at slaughter. When it comes to collagen, that turns into gelatin. So when I'm eating Jello, I'm thinking, ooh, collagen for my skin. That's good for the skin. Supposedly, I don't know really what happens, because I think once you digest, it doesn't really affect much. But or maybe topically doesn't affect much. Maybe I should eat more collagen. So gelatin, I'm assuming Jello. I'm assuming they need collagen from animals to make Jello. Pretty sure. Gummy bears, yum, delicious. So what happens to that is, like, when you heat it, when you heat collagen, it becomes softer. And that's when it turns into gelatin. But then you have elastin. Elastin is a little bit tougher and is resistant to heat. So thinking elastic, it's like, nyeh, 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 right? It's gonna resist heat a lot better. That's usually found in ligaments and is yellow in color. Oh, it's really crazy because meat goes through a lot of sort of chemical reactions, and then it can eventually go from red to brown to green. Gross. Would you eat green meat? I don't think so. Oh, no. I'm gonna say no on that. Okay, now we talked about meat. Let's talk about pork and fish. So if you find fish in a can, sort of like sardines, they have the bones with them. That makes it so they have more calcium. But do not be fooled. Hear me out. Do not be fooled, because supposedly, I have not looked into the nutritional facts of this, but from what I hear, yogurt, a cup of yogurt has the most amount of calcium, about like 400 milligrams. So if you just so happen to stumble, you know, across that dilemma of having to choose, do I choose sardines or do I choose a cup of yogurt? Look it up and see how much calcium each has, and then choose wisely. Talking about pork. Pork, pretty lean meat, has thiamine, which is B1. Deficiency would be beriberi if we're talking about beef. Depending the cut of meat, where it is in the body, is going to have more or less fat. More tender meats will come from muscles that are not really worked. Some muscles work more, so that will be tender meat. Usually will have more marbling, and cooking will be different for each type of meat, obviously. Meat is inspected at slaughter, right? But shellfish, so think like mussels, shrimp, and all those things, they are inspected. It's mandatory for them to be inspected, but some fish, like salmon, may not need to be inspected. Did you ever go to somebody's house and it's a holiday and they're cooking chicken or turkey, and then there is this beautiful aroma in the air? Turns out that's what's being released as a volatile compound in the chicken. It sounds so fancy, right? Volatile compound. It sounds like volatile, like, ooh, stay away from it. How about the savory taste? You know what that's from? From glutamate. Let's talk about eggs, man. So I just learned a new word, chalasa. Chalasa? Whatever, I have no idea how to say that. What that is sort of like a cord that's gonna anchor the egg yolk. Which, by the way, when you think about egg yolk and white, the egg yolk has the most nutrients. So I get the egg white, it's like super low in cholesterol, etc. But come on, guys, kind of a waste, considering that the yolk has so many more nutrients. Well, the eggs are also graded, and grade A eggs is the one that you can clearly see the difference between the white and the yolk. Do you guys like to work out? I used to work out a lot. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm just tired. So I was thinking, you know, we just talked about egg white and yolk. And the egg yolk also has more protein than the white. Then I also thought about milk and how milk has casein and whey proteins. So I would probably look into those things if I were you, because we might need to know that for the exam. Good morning, beautiful. Let's talk about coffee. So did you ever go out to order coffee and then it was so nasty, bitter tasting? You know why? They may have overheated your coffee above 203 degrees. I also only get my lattes at kids' temperature because I'm not trying to burn everything. Oh, did you know that seafood can stay alive for only 1 week? So deli meat is graded cutter, whatever, because they cut, slice. That's what I'm gonna go with it. So we've gone over a lot of information. That is more information that you need to know, and it has to do with the different gradings of meat. Different types of pastries, flour, milk, more in-depth information in milk. All of those things I'll tell you to please look it up. Also look up all the different additives, fat content in different foods. For example, if you have chicken, turkey, meat, fish, which one has the most or least amount of fat? We also probably should know that the most GMO, I guess you could call it a vegetable. It is a vegetable, or is it a grain? I don't know. I need to look into that. Regardless, corn is the most GMO crop grown in the United States. Now, say you know somebody who is a vegetarian and they might be deficient in niacin. Not to worry, because our bodies can synthesize niacin from tryptophan. That when you cut, slice, or like take the skin off a vegetable or a fruit, they may lose important nutrients. And then what happens if you have a muffin and then you cook it too much, too little? You stir a bunch or not enough. Undermixing. I think if you get a flat top, it's undermixing. And then if you have too much sugar, too little sugar, all those little things you need to know. Well, I am not a chef. If you're a chef, come on over, we'll make videos together. Hope this helps you. I'm ready to move on to a new topic. And as I see things, I can always add them all to some sort of PowerPoint for us. Does that sound good? The soy, it's a very good source of protein. And it has a limiting amino acid called methionine. So we could think methionine is limiting. Methionine is limiting. How does that sound? Crispiness that comes from osmotic pressure. That's what causes them to be crispy. Not this. This is definitely not crispy. This is definitely old and mushy. Look at that. Smells good still though. But have you ever purchased an avocado and realized it was too green? Then you waited a day or two just to realize it was way ripe and it was too late. The struggle is real. With that said, what you should know for the RD exam is that what is it called? Ethylene is a gas used to accelerate the ripening of vegetables. Actually, fruit. Okay, red in an acidic solution because that is I was wondering, wine, does that have anthocyanins? And did you ever drink wine and notice your tongue turn kind of blue or your lips turn blue? I wonder if the pH of our mouth is more alkaline than acidic. But then when it gets to your stomach acid, my fridge. So when it gets to your stomach acid, what color do you think it turns? Greener, less green. What do you think that's due to? Chlorophyll. Then we have yellows and oranges due to carotenoids. I don't know how to say carotenoids. Carotenoids. How do you remember that? Think carrots, right? So yellow, orange, carotenoids. And then when you have something like a tomato, that is going to be lycopene that gives that bright red color. Then we're gonna have flavonoids. Then flavonoids could be purple, blue, and you know how onions can be purple or kind of white? So still a flavonoid. This is gonna have anthocyanins and flavones. Yep, and then if it's darker, so purple has anthocyanins, but white has anthocyanins and flavones. So purple, anthocyanins. Anthocyanins are purple. White are anthocyanins. Well, I don't know, we're gonna have to just memorize that. I tried. Anthocyanins, anthocyanins. Cyanin, xanthan. I like red wine more than white wine. C comes before X. Purple, red wine with cyanin, white for anthocyanin comes second. Good enough for me. Cheers. Carotenoids. Carotenoids? Carotenoids. Did I say that right? Carotenoids, carotenoids. I just learned this new word, chalasa, chalasa. You guys ever watch Elf? I feel like Elf doing that. Chalasa. That's supposedly, what is that? I just looked at it. It's a cord-like strip that anchors the egg yolk. Chalasa. Anchors, is sort of like a cord that anchors the yolk. What does anchor even mean? Good morning, beautiful. I like to remind myself of that. Even when this is fake and there's nothing in it, I'm just using it as a prop. I think that's pretty much all you need to know about coffee. I'm sure that coffee can be brewed different ways and has antioxidants and etc. People cannot figure out, is coffee good for you? Is coffee bad for you? How much coffee should you drink? 4 cups of coffee, I'll never sleep at night. Can you imagine? I'm talking to myself right now. I'm sure you're listening, maybe. I was like, whoa, I did not know that. Well, fact check that information because I did read that and I want to make sure. No, I'm not bossing you around. My dog's barking. I love you too. I love you. Yes, you're handsome. He's a good puppy. You a good puppy. Can I please get back to work? Yeah, I know, you're needy. We just went for a run, buddy. Okay, I'll play with you in just a little bit. We need to study, but you want to study with me? Okay. Oh, smart dog.